psychology tells us something important. Intelligence isn't just about IQ scores, SAT results, or how well you did in school. In fact, many researchers now argue that cognitive strength shows up less in test performance, and more in how we think every single day. It's reflected in our decision-making, our openness to new information, how we handle disagreement, and how we respond when we're wrong. Sometimes, the biggest sign of lower cognitive performance isn't a lack of knowledge. It's certain unnoticed thinking habits. Here are 6 psychological patterns that may signal weaker cognitive development, and more importantly, how to recognize them in ourselves. 1. Extreme certainty about everything. Highly intelligent thinkers tend to hold their beliefs with flexibility. In cognitive psychology, this is called intellectual humility, the ability to say, "I might be wrong." But when someone is absolutely certain about every political issue, every scientific debate, every complex topic, with zero room for nuance, that can signal limited analytical depth. The world is complicated. Smart thinkers understand that. Confidence feels powerful. But confidence and intelligence are not the same thing. In fact, research on the Dunning-Kruger effect shows that people with lower competence in an area often overestimate their understanding. The strongest minds stay open. 2. Inability to change one's mind. In American culture, we often admire people who stand their ground, and persistence can be admirable. But cognitive strength isn't about stubbornness. It's about adaptability. Research in cognitive psychology shows that higher-performing thinkers update their beliefs when presented with strong evidence. They don't see changing their mind as weakness, they see it as growth. If someone treats new evidence as a threat instead of information, that rigidity can limit intellectual development. Real intelligence evolves. 3. Oversimplifying complex issues. We live in the age of hot takes and 10-second opinions. But complex problems, whether it's the economy, healthcare, education, or human behavior, rarely have one-sentence solutions. Lower cognitive processing depth is often linked with black and white thinking. Everything becomes always or never, good or bad, us or them. Nuance disappears. The world becomes slogans. Stronger thinkers tolerate complexity. They understand that multiple variables can be true at once. They resist easy answers when the issue demands deeper thought. If everything sounds simple, it probably isn't. 4. Blaming external forces for everything. Now let's be clear, external factors absolutely matter. Economic conditions, upbringing, opportunity, and social systems all influence outcomes. But when every failure is someone else's fault, when there's never self-reflection, that can signal limited metacognition. Metacognition is the ability to analyze your own thinking and behavior. It's essentially thinking about your thinking. Psychological research shows that self-awareness is strongly tied to cognitive growth. If someone constantly externalizes responsibility, blaming the boss, the government, society, luck, without asking, "What could I have done differently?" growth stops. Personal responsibility doesn't mean self-blame. It means self-awareness. 5. Low curiosity. Curiosity is one of the strongest predictors of intellectual engagement. People who ask questions, explore unfamiliar ideas, read widely, and seek diverse perspectives tend to strengthen cognitive flexibility over time. On the other hand, when someone shows little interest in learning beyond surface-level information, avoids new viewpoints, or dismisses topics without exploring them, that can signal lower intellectual drive. Intelligence grows where curiosity exists. Without curiosity, the mind becomes static. 6. Emotional reactivity over rational reflection. The 6th sign is allowing emotions to dominate thinking without reflection. Emotions are essential. They guide decisions and signal what matters. But when someone reacts instantly, with anger, defensiveness, or outrage, without pausing to evaluate facts, it often overrides analytical processing. Stronger cognitive patterns include emotional regulation, the ability to pause, to separate feelings from evidence, to ask, "Is this true?" Or am I just reacting? In today's fast-paced digital world, reactive thinking is common, but reflective thinking is powerful. Final thoughts. Psychology makes one thing very clear. IQ isn't destiny, and intelligence isn't fixed. Patterns like rigidity, overconfidence, oversimplification, chronic blame, low curiosity, and emotional reactivity can limit cognitive development, but they are habits, not permanent traits. The encouraging part? Thinking patterns can change. Neuroplasticity research shows that the brain adapts throughout life. When we practice humility, curiosity, self-reflection, and open-mindedness, we strengthen cognitive flexibility. Intelligence isn't just what you're born with. It's how you choose to think, how you respond to evidence, how willing you are to grow. And growth is always available.